Hello again. So while I'm here, I'll give you guys a quick rundown of why we're showing all of this. As many of you may know, and for those who may not know, the academy takes several players who apply, and we give them coaching as a team for what is it, like 5 weeks? Yeah, I do believe, yeah, 5 weeks. And once we're done, we put them all through the showcase if they so choose to play. And this is relatively what the most teams either first or third tournament experience together. And well, as we can see, the Cool Zone has a very interesting mindset regarding how they play the game. And I think they got strong mental for this one. What do you think, Lila?
I truly do think that they have strong mental, especially considering the team that they were fighting in the replay was a Div 5 team, and we did see them retake quite a few times, so they definitely aren't scared of their opponents, and they're ready to take on some pretty interesting tournaments, as it looks like they played All for One and SOS, placing kind of in the middle range of both of those tournaments.
Yeah. That was definitely an impressive feat, and like they definitely stood their ground. So I'm definitely interested to see how they handle these teams that they are about to play against. So I do believe we're about to get ready, and funnily enough, we see that they will be playing on Mahi Mahi zones once again.
Yeah. just as we saw in the replay for it looks like Cooler Zone, and from what we saw in that replay, it appears that there may or may not be a dread. And as Snug actually pointed out earlier when we were watching that, they had some really good reef sliders, so it's gonna be a little bit tough on C Drive's end of things.
Well, we'll have to see how they handle each other because, like, I'm not sure how much these two teams have interacted, like when it comes to scrims, but I'm definitely interested to see how they handle each other's strategies and how they work around them.
Yeah. Outside of the slider, I will say that they do appear to be fairly evenly matched, as it appears both of their backliners do run Headit or some form of Splatling. And looking at C Drive, they have a decav, they have Flingza, so they'll have quite a bit of paint here. Meanwhile, the Cooler Zone also appears to have a decav and also a stamper. So I think that there's going to be some very interesting matchups. We might see some really cool 1v1s or 2v2s happening mid-match.
I do concur with that, but at the same time, we've also got two maps coming up because this is right now. The format for round one will be play all three, and then we'll be getting into the second bracket. But for the moment, like, we've got Mahi Zones, which is one of those maps which we all know can either snowball or end up in an absolute slug out in the middle of the map. And then we've got Clam Scorch, and after that Rainmaker Museum, which both maps can end up in heavy stalemates if neither team is able to get a solid pick or two. So we're gonna have to see how those teams fare, especially with both teams having a strong backline Splatling in their pockets. We'll definitely need to see how they adapt around them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, regarding the Rainmaker, it does appear that Cosmo, the player that happens to play S-Blast and Decav, also happens to pocket Wellstring. So that could be interesting to see for Rainmaker. Obviously, the initial pop isn't as important, but it could be the thing that changes the tide at the last minute.
Yeah, true. Because, like, we all know what happens if you get too close to that Rainmaker shield. We're all too familiar. Everybody's made that mistake at least once, and it's either you've laughed it off or it's been embarrassing.
Yeah. I have seen, like you said, that both of these teams don't have a lot of experience in tournaments together, but it does kind of seem like they have, a bit of. It does appear like they have worked together before. As we heard with the Cooler Zone, the way that the team was talking together, there was a bit of camaraderie there, and a bit of mutual understanding that some of them might have the weakness of being overzealous and the other ones might have the weakness of being a little bit too meek. But the conversation that they had with, I believe it was their coach, was just it was very realistic, and I do think that I got a little bit of a stronger grasp on who the Cooler Zone might be, but I'm really excited to see what C Drive can do, because they were very brief and they got to the point, and seemed like they were very determined.
Yeah, Well, that's the thing about this program. We take players who we think will work well together, and we can get some very interesting results from the teams that come out of it. So I'm definitely interested to see how these teams again work against each other or play against each other. Either way, I do believe we're about to get into this, so let's get ready for game 1 of round 1, everybody. C Drive versus the Cooler Zone. Now let's see how these teams fare against each other in the arena.
That is a
Ooh.
double, oh gosh, double Splatana. That's fun.
Double Splatana, we have 2 Coolers on the field. Oh my goodness, this is going to be a brawl.
Double Slosher as well, and you know, we did mention that Dread earlier, and you know, we saw how good they are, and they've got an early setup here
blood.
on that top snipe.
Yeah, we do our first blood there. Decap goes down on the side of Cooler Zone. And looks like, yep, C Drive will take the zone very quickly. Some very preemptive strikes, but looking to create space. Their bucket goes down, their Dread goes down, and their Decap is dead again. Oh my goodness. Cool. C Drive going for a very aggressive, and I mean incredibly aggressive hold. They're holding that flat now. Oh, Cooler Zone are already on the back foot, and it's barely been 30 seconds.
Yeah, when you say that is definitely not an understatement. As we say that, you know, we're watching as the Cooler Zone comes back in, that Reef Slider comes out, and it's kind of the pretty much the exact opposite. C Drive may or may not have gotten a little bit overzealous there. You know, all 4 players up on that plat was a very interesting thing to see. Timer is going down with 75 points left for the Cooler Zone, but C Drive comes out with the hammer and the triple ink strikes, managing to get a trade there with that hammer. Looks like 1 are down on both sides of the teams. We're watching as Sis Neo here, you know, is just trying to get in, trying to paint, trying to stop that bleeding. The decav on the side of Cooler Zone is down, which is just, you know, another player that won't be able to stop C Drive from retaking here.
Yeah, indeed. Both, like I said, I didn't lie when I said this match was going to be an absolute brawl. The lead is 1 point away for Cooler Zone, but C Drive is not going to let it happen easily. These players are making, well, equal strength plays, and they're doing a good job of trying to stay alive and charge special to get back in. But yeah, no, looks like C Drive has already learned from the mistake and is now adapting to staying away from these ledges and trying to avoid all of this AoE spam from both buckets. But we have Tri-Strikes and Reef on the line. Yeah, no, that is going to be a zone flip. Oh, never mind! They actually managed to hold a fair distance. Hammer comes out, kills the decap in his own bubble, but then again, that's unfortunate. Classic Hammer play. You either kill one or you kill all 3. There is no in between.
That was a very brutal back and forth that we're seeing here. You know, C Drive was able to get it down below 30 points, but as that happened, Cooler Zone like clapped back, and here we are with C Drive having 50 points in penalty. The Cooler Zone has managed to keep it for quite a little while here, but out come them strikes. You know, they're just relentless here. We're watching special after special being thrown out. Many players are just going down one by one. It's kind of hard to keep up here, but the Cooler Zone manages to come back out on top. We're watching the decav fight the Wiper over on the right side of the map here. Arcader unfortunately does get taken out. Oh my gosh, that is a wipe. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Incredibly strong hold from the Cooler Zone, though. Great use of the Reloader to get paint through the strikes. And, well, now it looks like, yeah, C Drive is now, unfortunately, on the back foot again. They've done a strong job of holding, and unfortunately, those strikes coming out the last second will not paint zone. And game 1 goes to the Cooler Zone. Very strong stuff.
Absolutely. And you know, when you said that Cooler Zone learned from their vice of being all the way up front, when they knew that they had a higher advantage, that's when they did it again. And so I really saw how quickly they were able to retake there. It was great.
Indeed. Yeah, we saw that, like, we saw C Drive try and make an adaptation to avoid dying quickly on the hold, but unfortunately, Cooler Zone were able to get the picks regardless. But they did their best to try and make sure. But I do believe the well-timed resliders were the key factor to maintaining control of zone through those strikes. Absolutely.
That was just, honestly, that was a blood-boiling match. You know, watching that back and forth happen so quickly, and players, you know, going down, dropping like flies one by one. But it was really great to see that the coaching from both of the teams had played out very well. I could see that there were moments that sometimes maybe the Cooler Zone got a little bit overzealous, but they were able to bounce back really quickly.
Yeah, agreed. It is like keeping your what would it be, your aggression or like you know thirst for action in check is something that you need to do, especially in like zones where if you die at the wrong place at the wrong time, it can easily result in a zone flip or even worse, a full-on lockout.
Yeah,
Either
just getting a
way,
little bit
we
greedy and
are...
wanting that one last kill can really be the thing that causes a snowball effect, as we saw. You know, the cooler zone doing that the first time and then getting completely wiped. And Snug, I'm having a...
Yep. Yeah, I can hear that. Either way. Well, either way, we're getting into Scorched Clams, and this is one of the maps where, this can either end a stalemate, like I said, or it can be very quickly done. Now, we have, again, Double Salt coming out from C Drive, so we'll have to see how the aggression pays off this time. Neither team has changed comps, actually. Crab coming out from the splash, an early kill on both sides, but actually, yeah, no, both decaps go down. The Splatana goes down as well. Excellent shooting from the Crab, takes out the heavy edit, actually, surprisingly enough. I was expecting somebody else to go down there. Ooh, what? Was
wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That seemed like a pretty long-range fall-off for me. Must have been on like 99 health, 99 damage.
Yeah, Burdito is just, just keeping that left elbow completely clear of any of their opponents. And we're watching as Arcader here, is trying to go in, trying to, gain some space. Unfortunately, is not able to, but they are able to charge their hammer. They are... they're faced with a bunch of bombs in the side of Cooler Zone. Unfortunately, it's a bit of a stalemate here, but it is early game and it's anyone's, it's anyone's lead at this point. And, with 3 specials out on the... Oh, gosh, here we go. Here come the 3 specials. We're watching as that slider goes into the bubble. It appears to grab somebody, that hammer grabbing Cosmo. And, oh no, looks like they were unable to get... Yeah.
Yeah. Like, yeah, this is, yeah, no, that slider was absolutely key for that because it chipped at least 3 of them and they all died to follow-up attacks. A huge setup here with a bubble in the exact spot they want to throw the ball in, and now they have some scores on the board. But unfortunately, it doesn't look like they're going to be able to get more clams in. Never mind, Heavy Edit comes in with 3. 3 more coming in with the Dread, and I'm not sure. It looks like they have exhausted all the clams on the C Drive side of the map. They're gonna be going back and forth a long ways back to get clams here. Never mind, 3 have spawned just behind the snipe. Do they see them? I don't think they do. Nobody's noticed them yet. Actually, somebody just did, but too late. Quite unfortunate, but hee-ho, we have 56 on the board for Cooler Zone. That's a strong lead for a first push on clams.
Yeah, and they were able to get it all the way down to 56. Oh my gosh, here comes the slider out into that bubble. Boom manages to grab 2. They're fighting off that crab, forcing that crab all the way back down into a fairly disadvantageous spot. That Dread really just is the nightmare for C Drive to fight here. We're watching Birdo, trying to clear out all of the players, managing to get a stray. Oh gosh.
Strong defense.
As we say that, it's the complete opposite.
Indeed. It's very interesting to see that because, like, I mean, I'm impressed that the Dread being that aggressive against a crab of all things was not something I expected to see because, like, that's literally, like, sort of semi-taming a Kraken, like, like the Splatoon 1 days, but, not exactly a fair comparison. Oh my goodness, Splatana is in, looking for a frag, does in fact miss the swings, but doesn't die either, which is a fair and honest, upside, as it's pulled the attention that allows a bubbler to be popped, ball goes in, and, well, now everybody's going to start scoring. Oh, well, this is actually a very strong setup, and no, actually, never mind! Cooler Zone have actually thwarted the assault and have managed to take out the players behind the Splatana. Oh my goodness. That's an unfortunate case, but that is a very close lead.
Yeah, that was an insane flip that we saw there. The players of C Drive, managing to make it all the way up there, but Cooler Zone, denied that, taking out 3 players at once.
Indeed. Again, I mean, there's not much to say. It was just a classical, like, strong defense of the basket. A crab comes out, kills 2 with an explosion combo with a decap hit. Very strong. But unfortunately, the other players they were cooler. Yeah, no, Cooler Zone had cool there, well, in namesake. And a very clean dunk with a ball, extending their lead, making it even more difficult for a comeback here for C Drive. Oh my goodness, Heavy Edit standing their ground, does get a frag. Unfortunately, loses their cooler to a pick. Oh my goodness. The assault does not stop. Cooler Zone, again, making great use of their namesake to stay in the fight. But C Drive actually managing to thwart the attempt on the second try here.
Yeah, I'm just kind of shocked that Cooler Zone has managed to get in as many times as they have. We watched as C Drive had some very good defense there, but, as they got up there, it was just an unfortunate triple that happened. And we're watching as your boy Zap has just been kind of going in and making some very interesting flanks here. As I say that, oh my gosh, Arcader and your boy Zap are working together, trying to clear out that basket. There's only one player left, and they managed to get their power clam in. They're going down to 58, 46, all the way down to 40 so far. Does anyone have any more clams that they can throw in?
I mean, yeah, it looks like they do, but unfortunately it looks like they've mismanaged their stalling, and, well, unfortunately, Coolerzone has slowly crept back into their basket region and has cleared them out before they can actually get the score. Very unfortunate situation, very close game. But yeah, I do believe that was a great showing of how you can use your cooler to just completely make an assault just last so long. It's, well, it's rather unfortunate that it happens there, but C-Drive unfortunately didn't build a strong clam economy in the last second. I do believe just may have just wanted to rush in and get as much in as they could right then and there. But it's hard to tell what's going on without being in the VC at times. So I can only guess it was just a bit of a miscommunication.
Yeah, I was having a little bit of lag on my end, so I wasn't able to fully see what was happening. But, in between the lag, I was able to see just some really great plays in the side of Coolerzone. Even though this is play 03, C-Drive still does have a chance to, come back and take a game. Especially on the wonderful map, as we all know it, the Museum Rainmaker, which can be just a very, very interesting back and forth. And, with that middle jump and that little shortcut heading over, it can just be something amazing. We could, see a complete flip of the score here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely interested to see how they handle this map, because we've all played on this map, and it's a fantastic Rainmaker map, in my opinion. Like, while it only may have one check, it's still an interesting map to play on. Given with the spinners, allowing you to take shortcuts. And, well, the interesting approach for the final check is always interesting to see. Do people go high? Do people prefer to, try and clear out and then go low? Seeing how different teams and comms approach the final check is just, I find it quite interesting.
Yeah, and especially with that top spinner up there, we did see some amazing crabs from, I believe it was Birdito, or Birdio. We saw in that initial opening that they were able to just get some amazing fall off with their splash. They were throwing a lot of their burst bombs and just grabbing stray players. And that opening crab on that left elbow was just something that caught the Coolerzone off guard.
Yeah, indeed. Splash is one of those weapons that can do so much, which I find them which I love about the weapon. It's the second it gets crammed, its ability to hold space is it's got to be taken into account into just about any fight the second it's charged. Either way, I do believe we'll be getting into the last match of this set, and I do believe both teams are ready, so we should be getting right there. Give us a moment for that, lads. Okay, here we go. Last match. I do believe C-Drive is going to be not so desperate, but determined to at least score some points on this board to get themselves into a good position here for the rest of the tournament. Let's see how they do. No comp changes again from C-Drive. And no changes from Coolerzone either, which is interesting to see. Well, I'm guessing they just want to go with what they're comfortable with or what they're warmed up with. So let's see. Oh, an immediate flank on the right you saw from the Splatoon, I do believe. No, it's the decap. Decap actually went that way. Oh, but no, unfortunately you run out of ink. Good jump out. Yeah, good jump out.
Yeah, that was great from you, boy Zap. Just taking that early right side, trying to see if they can get a sneak in. But
oh wait, never mind. They killed 3. They killed 3 while the time we decided to look elsewhere. What is that's a quad? The one thing I hate about my job as a commentator is we take our eyes off of one player for a millisecond in Splatoon, and they decide, you know what, I'm just gonna kill 4 people. It's just funny. They decide, you know what, we'll just flip the game.
Yeah, and we're seeing Masher here, saving their tri-strikes. As I say that, Birdito comes in and just makes a mess of everything, grabbing 3, greedy for that 4th one, managing to grab that 4th one. The pet is painted, but it looks like that Rainmaker's having a bit of trouble getting up there. They unfortunately do get knocked out there, and the players of the Coolerzone are coming back, grabbing your boy Zap. Oh yeah, gosh, and Cosmos trying to run away, they're not able to. We saw Arcader coming forward and, just punching through. Honestly, the Coolerzone, probably should grab it and start moving it a little bit. But, C-Drive is desperate to get in there, trying their best to have a clap back and, take back their honor.
I mean, yeah, the determination on the end of C Drive is clearly just palpable. As well, they've just as for the past what, minute 40? Yeah, minute 40. It has been a non-stop onslaught.
Ooh,
Another wipeout. My goodness,
that was
what
a
a hammer!
flood.
Classic hammer moment. You either kill no one or kill the entire team. There is no in between. I keep saying it, and there's no way. There is no words I can properly use to express this without using some form of expletive, which I will refrain from doing, as this is a official stream. And well,
Yeah.
I can only commend both teams here for being able to keep going. Like the Cooler Zone is doing a fantastic job preventing the team. Never mind, I'll shut up. I'll stop talking. Commentators curse.
First.
It keeps happening.
There we go. That was amazing. Oh my gosh,
that was
C Drive.
100-0. C Drive showing that, like, yeah, well, good games, lads, but like, what do you want me to say about that? Like, what am I supposed to say about that match other than like literally just like unstoppable force meets immovable object until immovable object wears itself down? Like, I've got no words. Like, phenomenal levels of aggression from C Drive. Like, I think we can both concur on that, and a valiant attempt at defense from the Cool Zone. While they may come out on top, C Drive has definitely demonstrated that they are just as strong of a team in this instance.
Absolutely. Just the way that C Drive was able to clap back, and they said, you know what, you might have gotten us for the first two, but we're gonna lock in and we're gonna take it back for this last match. So, kudos to C Drive for fighting as hard as they could, and great job to Cooler Zone for managing to take the first two.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, while it may be a little bit of a bitter taste for C Drive to be on stream and losing coming out short on the second match in terms of points, their performance has definitely shown that they are extremely strong. That was just amazing. Coming from me, who normally doesn't stop talking, they left me speechless on multiple occasions. Like, that's all I gotta say.
And then when you were talking, they're like, actually, let's flip that on its head. Thank you.
Literally, like, y'all hear something? Y'all hear something? like what? What are you? Okay, team managers, what are you guys feeding your teams? Like, seriously, what do you guys give them? Like, what advice was given before the tournament? Was like literally just like, you know what? You hear the commentator say something, do the exact opposite.
Let's shock the commentators really quick.
Yeah, let's leave them speechless. It'll be funny. Heck, we probably don't even need to be here given how these guys are playing. Like, literally, we'll just let the match develop. Oh my goodness. I was not prepared for such an intense first set. I sat down here expecting like a slow build-up or something, but nah, both teams have come out swinging. Oh my lord. Then again,
Yeah.
Either way,
Yeah.
we'll be taking a small intermission, lads, and we'll be back with you for the next set.